you have people who think that they know you, so it gives them a certain level of entitlement.
Welcome back to the Running Wine Mom podcast. I'm your host, Samantha Slinsky, aka the Running Wine Mom. As women, we are constantly told we have to choose a box. Are you an ambitious boss, or are you the soft, nurturing mother? Are you building a legacy, or are you holding down the home front? Can you love luxury and high fashion while also doing gritty, unglamorous work of healing and self-discovery? Well, my guest today is living proof that you don't have to choose. You can want and have it all. Chanel Valentine Haynes is an entrepreneur, a creator, a mother, and the brilliant mind behind the Mom for Life platform, where she is completely redefining what it means to nurture ourselves and our ambitions. Now, you might also know her last name, and you might know her dad as hip-hop royalty Nelly, but today we are peeling back the public perception, the social media grids, and the headlines to talk to the women behind the visibility. We're diving into the reality of balancing boss energy with deep softness and what it actually takes to reinvent yourself when the whole world thinks they already know who you are. So without further ado, let's welcome Chanel. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. That introduction was amazing.
Well, you're amazing. I love researching all my guests, but it's just so wonderful to highlight what my guests are doing. And I think it's important to remember that you are doing such amazing thing for the world. So besides my intro, tell everyone about yourself.
Well, I am a 32-year-old mom of one, and I have been in entrepreneurship almost all my life. I've had several jobs here and there. I've lived in 2 different states for more than 2 years. I'm I would say an extrovert, pretty extroverted. I love family time and getting out and doing athletic things. I'm very competitive. I've always wanted a boy as a child, 2 boys to be specific, but 1 for right now. I've always created, since a child, I've always created something, but something that always came from me wanting to better the world in some sort of way. Like me always wanting to find a solution to a problem around me or a problem that I was seeing. I think being exposed to so much at a young age allowed me to not only see the issues, but seeing my dad prosper in what he has done has made me believe that I can also be a person that can solve these issues. So yeah, my podcast is just one of those many that I wanted to speak and give a platform to women, mothers like myself that touch subjects that a lot of people may fear to touch or also, want to talk about and just don't have that comfortability and that platform to reach people with.
That's amazing and so important. And I am excited to talk about that. I want to talk a little bit about you because when you walk into a room, there is sometimes a name that's often maybe walking in before you do. When did you realize that you had to really actively work to ensure that, your spirit was louder than your last name?
Great question. I don't really know the age, but I can feel that moment when I think about it of when I was like, okay, if you want to make the impact, and again, the impact doesn't have, my mindset wasn't that it had to be as grand as my dad's impact, but because you're already on a platform, it's going to be more than I think that I want to say a particular time was in college. I felt like in college, I decided last minute to even go to college for art instead of sports. And that switch for me was because I wanted to do music and I wanted to be an entertainer. And I knew like in order for me to make my own name or just to have a name that again stood next to my dad versus under my dad in a sense, right? It was going to be me creating my tribe in college, right? Or doing the things that was going to make me connections and be amongst the people. I figured that out in college, I feel like. One of the moments.
Yes.
Yeah.
And well, what were you going to go to college for sports? What was that original path that you were going to do?
Basketball.
Love basketball. Basketball is my sport too.
Yes. Okay. We got to get
What position were you?
A point guard and shooting guard. Shooting
Yes,
guard
me too.
too. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I was a two. Yeah. And then point guard when, when needed, I guess.
Yeah. 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 You saying it. Same.
Yeah. I love that. So, I think people assume growing up around fame, that's going to automatically equal confidence. But sometimes visibility, it really makes people hyper aware of themselves. Did being connected to someone famous make you more secure or more self-conscious growing up?
More self-conscious growing up. And I
Mm-hmm.
have to say, I know I keep saying good questions, but that right there, I've never been asked before on the several interviews that I've done overall. Just And I really like touching on this because I have touched on before through my platform about me having acne in high school and how I went to a predominantly white high school, middle school, and it was a private school at that. And I just struggled with my appearance, believe it or not. Like I
Mm-hmm.
felt like because majority looked a certain way, that I was standing out or that I wasn't as beautiful as presenting as others. So I definitely struggled with feeling like that on top of having all the eyes on me all the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And on top of being a
Can't
minority
imagine.
in my school. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I used humor, believe it or not. I was a very talkative kid in class. Yes, I was very funny. I got along with a lot of people. I was in a lot of different crews and cliques and still was like social. It didn't really stop me from being social, but I will say
Mm-hmm.
it definitely affected my relationships because I was like, I feel like people think I'm supposed to be like my acne's supposed to be clear because I have money and they think that I'm supposed to just have it
Right.
figured out. And, because I didn't, it was just like, it really hindered my self-esteem in a lot of different ways. Yes.
I really cannot imagine being a teen going through all of the things that teens are already going through and then just like having the spotlight on you. And then like you said, you already have the spotlight on you and you're in this space where, there's the blonde hair, white skin, and that's already different than yours. And I'm sure I could see how that makes someone feel like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's probably very hard. So
You got
I
it.
I applaud you for, working through that. I mean, I'm sure it's better now. Hopefully it's better now.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. um so kind of in that realm, let's talk a little bit about maybe modern dating because it's really crazy out there. But add in again the public spotlight to when, you're dating, it's a whole different game. How do you kind of vet a man to make sure he's interested in Chanel, the woman, and not that spotlight around you?
Well, when I was vetting, I would say it was one of those things where like time would tell. I know it's very cliche, but time
Mhm.
definitely tells. And I used to be big on like putting things to the test here and there. But then I just learned karmically it kind of messes up the game a little bit, if you know what I mean, you know?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
kind of I really just focus on doing my own thing. I focus on showing up as me and then just being clear minded enough and being intentional enough that things happen and I'm able to catch it because things are always happening, right?
Mhm.
It's more about me
Right.
seeing what's happening and acknowledging it and accepting it for what it is versus trying to make it into something else or. So it's very hard.
That's
It's always been tough, girl. Like if you ask me, I was supposed to be married by now. I was supposed to have my kid at like 25. I was
mhm.
supposed to have found my person so long ago with all the work and the groundwork I feel like I've done with just growing and things naturally happening, but timing is everything, I guess. Just letting it do what it
I
do.
do believe timing. Yeah, I do believe timing is everything, even though it is annoying to sit there and say, like, oh, your time will come, but,
Yes,
and probably very difficult,
yes.
but I think it will. And you want to, you don't want to settle for someone just because like you're of a certain age. And I think that is something important that just everyone needs to kind of remember, that you're worth
Absolutely.
your partner's just supposed to like highlight some things about you, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
You're already a
absolutely.
great person.
Thank
Yeah.
you. So,
Um,
question. I
of
wanted to say
course.
something about that, right? Because I saw a post the
Yeah.
other day and it said, is settling really settling? Like, meaning when you look up and you think like, okay, I'm in this relationship with somebody and things aren't as good. I met them at a certain point in their life. They're meeting me at a certain point in my life, right? As mothers, after a baby, we tend to spike a change very quickly. So the males might
Mm-hmm.
stay the same. Some might grow very quickly as well. It just depends on the male. But
Mm-hmm.
let's just say they don't change right away, right? Some will say
Mm-hmm.
if you stick it out with them that you're settling because here you are very mature and the other person hasn't caught up yet, right? So here I am. If I
Mm-hmm.
stay in this, I might be settling because he hasn't reached the potential that I now see that I want. Because back then, the
Right.
potential probably was fine. Like back then, I was
Yeah.
rolling with the things that he was doing and the things that that it was. And even if I wasn't rolling with them, you still stuck around to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here
Right.
you are, like I said, past motherhood and the maturity has hit you as a woman, but then your guy might not have caught up yet. Again, is it really settling or are you just ditching that problem now because you feel like you've shot up in maturity and he's behind? Well, if I look at it like that, you're going to continue to leave people behind because how many people are going to change when you change exactly at that time? How many people are you going to catch up with if you do find somebody better at this particular moment? You don't know if their position is going this way or this way from who they are now. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I definitely think it's about, finding that person that you're going to stick with and stick with them. And that's where I'm at now. So,
Yeah,
what do you
no,
think?
I totally agree. I think we all ebb and flow at different points of our life, and you're absolutely correct. Like, hopefully we're not the same person that we were when we were, 15 or 25 or 35, but like we're going to be growing in different, time, and hopefully like if you have the right person, you're going to grow and they're going to see, okay, look at how they leveled up. I want to level up with you if that's the right person that you're supposed to be with, you know?
Yes, yes. And it's definitely those core things, right? I guess when there's the core things, like, I would say personally, like physical harm and stuff like that. Like, okay, yeah, like don't like but that's with
Right.
anyone. That's not just
Mhm.
relationships, right? If you're in a parent child relationship, a sibling relationship, you put boundaries up when things hit that core. But again, that's
Mhm.
general. That's not just settling in a relationship. So like you're saying, like at least if that person is saying like, hey, I'm trying, I'm willing to grow while you're growing. And again, it may not look the way I'm learning too. It may not look the way that it looked when you were growing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So even that within itself, I had to learn. And honestly, motherhood has taught me this because my dating life before this and before my child's father, I would say it was very fast, very quick, very like, oh, if this doesn't match, I'm moving on to the next.
Mhm.
It, just to get a bit personal too, I'm not a person that just has to be intimate to see where things go, sexually.
Mhm.
So it was definitely like if the vibe wasn't right in the first 2 weeks, I was like cutting things short. And I'm like, girl, you're not even giving it time. You're
Yeah.
not, you're not
You're
even,
like, let's
no.
move, let's move.
So I definitely appreciate the growth that motherhood does for people, for mothers in general, but definitely for me and how it set
Mhm.
me up in relationships. Yes, yes,
Yeah, that is one of my favorite things about becoming a mom is really like growing into this whole new person of myself and just like figuring out the things that you've been kind of putting up with for so long that you're like,
hmm
I'm done with this. And then really like for myself, I know I've just grown and I think that was one of the questions that I had for you about when you became a mom, like you flourished in motherhood versus I think, sometimes we think motherhood has to stop our ambition. Someone like you, like really just took it and went with it and you started your podcast and showing people talking and showing up for like real life issues that we didn't know about before we became moms, you know?
Thank you for that. I honestly, yeah, that's just what it's been about for me. I just kind of grabbed this shit by the horns. I feel like I've always kind of been like that. But
Yeah.
I also feel like it's about, and you tell me how you feel about it too, because I also feel like it's about just pacing myself too. Like I've always
Mhm.
been the grabbing things by the horns girl, but like I'll get washed out, I'll get burnt out quicker. I'll start something and then kind of like push it off to the side after a while. And I realized that pattern is just like sometimes going full throttle in the beginning and then not really
Mhm.
pacing myself through, whether it's entrepreneurship, artistry, relationships. It causes you to burn out quicker. So yeah.
I totally relate to that because I'm always trying to like, okay, what can we do? Similar in like the entrepreneurial mindset of like, how can we fix this? And then you're like, oh, I'm going to fix this problem. And then like 2 weeks later, you're like, wait, there's another problem I need to
Right.
fix. Let's hold on that problem.
Yes. You saying that?
So yeah, kind of to go with that. A lot of women want, softness, they want luxury, they want love, motherhood, but they also want that ambition and independence. Do you think that women are like finally allowing themselves to want all these versions of fulfillment instead of just like choosing an identity?
I definitely think so. I think it shows up a lot more now than it probably ever has, especially
Hmm.
from the roots of, look, I should have had my little glass of wine. I'm totally not in the spirit right now. I'm like,
Sorry, it's been a
look,
day. I was
it's
like,
what it's
listen,
about. It's what it's about.
cheers.
Yes, cheers. So
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, definitely more now. Definitely more now.
Yeah.
Definitely more now.
And then you started this awesome brand, Mom for Life, and it really does feel like a little bit deeper than just motherhood content. What emotional gap were you trying to fill when you created this?
I, to pinpoint an emotional gap would be me saying, I've always been a mom, like my entire
Mm-hmm.
existence. Like my mom was 16 when she had me. So I pretty much grew up
Wow.
with her. Yeah, my dad was
Mm-hmm.
so my mom was 16 and pregnant, 17 when she had me. She has been getting on me with this ever since I've started podcasting and doing interviews. She's like, girl, I was 16 and pregnant and I was 17 when I had you. Like don't take me down another notch. Okay. So I'm like, okay. She was 17. I say that to say, I said it to say I've always, and then she had my brother at 20. So I have a little brother. So I've always felt just naturally responsible emotionally. Like I was my
Mm-hmm.
mom's everything, her rock, her everything,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, spiritually, however, whatever you believe in that state. So I've always kind of heavily felt like I was like the head. I just
Yeah.
always felt like the head. My dad wasn't there after he got on. He wasn't there in the household physically or able to be there every single day to like relieve my mom of some things or financially, yes, once things took off, right? But at first, just two young kids figuring it out. And here I am, once you get a certain age and like in toddler stage, you understand emotions. You know what I'm saying? So for me, yes, once I start noticing that I've had this ability emotionally to decipher what I was feeling, right? And channel into what my parents were feeling, my mom specifically. I feel like I just always been that nurturer or trying to figure things out
Mm-hmm.
in that type of way, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that I told my grandmother and them. They told me once I had my baby that I told them what I was going to be when I grew up was going to be a mother.
I got the chills. So sweet.
It's crazy, right? And I didn't have my baby till I was pregnant at 29. So yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and isn't it like funny to not I mean not really funny, but like I guess admirable to see at like our ages when our parents had us at like what age? At 29 your mom had, a 12 or 13-year-old and just how interesting it is with like wow, I can't believe that she was able to raise. I just think about that with my mom a lot because she had me at 27, but I was 34 when I had my kids, which I know isn't a huge age gap, but I'm always like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this age. Wait, they were this age? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't.
Like, how did you do it?
How did they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That is something that has definitely it helped me, and this is going kind of there with it, but it really helped my healing process with my mom being so young. Just remembering like if I was 16 and had a baby, like I don't really know. Yeah,
Oh,
where I
heck
would
no.
be at
I
this
wouldn't.
point. Yeah. So the grace is like, yeah, like it's mind blowing. It's mind
Yeah.
blowing. So yeah.
Yeah. It does give definitely, a different perspective. Oh, okay. So a lot of women listening are in a weird season where they're trying to lead businesses, they're trying to raise kids, they're trying to heal themselves, they're trying to look good, stay emotionally available, and not completely lose our minds, which doesn't
Hmm.
always happen. But how do you personally balance feminine energy with being a boss?
Good question. Girl, I'm still really figuring it out. I will say that. But a few tips that has helped me
Aren't
along
we
the
all?
way. Yeah, look, yes. Okay. A few tips that I would say has helped me along the way is letting the men in my life be the men, be the man. I have no desire to technically do it all. I really
Mhm.
don't. I just kind of follow my intuition of just wanting to use my gifts to give back, right? Whether that's podcasting, artistry. So I do that when I can, how I can. And then I think that it's mainly about focusing on, you got to focus on yourself. You just got to focus on
Mhm.
yourself. I know the momentum, not the momentum, I know the past dynamic between men and women where, the women completely pour into the men and, you know,
Mhm.
they, bring everything together financially, etc. But I do feel like, and I would have to research, so this is not facts, do not quote me. I do feel like the women back then that did have that strategy really didn't get to see themselves in the light that they wanted to see themselves in. Like, I'm sure they had
Mhm.
an image in their
Mhm.
head of things that they wanted to do, how they saw themselves throughout their entire lifetime. And I believe that a lot of those milestones and things that they wanted to do hadn't been reached because the ideal was more about pouring into someone else, right? So
Mhm.
for me, I truly believe in I'm a little selfish when it comes to like truly believing pouring into yourself. Like whether that is definitely taking time to yourself,
Mhm.
definitely catering, letting people cater to you. Don't not the one to say, "Oh no, I don't need that. Oh no, it's okay. I'll do it for you." Like, no, sure, thanks.
I
Yeah.
love that. More
Yeah.
people need to do that.
Yes. Yes, I agree. I think the world will go more round versus like this
Mhm.
if people like let people do what they want to do for you and what they,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome. All right, I want to do a couple quick fire questions for you. So
Quick
whatever
five.
comes to your mind.
Okay.
If your current chapter of life was a song title, what would it be?
A song title? That's so hard, girl, because I just listen to music all day and then you have the biggest brain fart about a
Sorry.
song title. No. Look, you have done me the favor already and like letting me know. I just okay. Song title. Okay, I can't think of one right this second, but I can give you a category. It would have to definitely be a Christian song.
Okay.
Probably like Grace and Mercy and I don't even know if that's the name of the song. That's just one of the lyrics.
That's
And
okay.
then
I love that.
probably definitely my dad's song, Heart of a Champion.
Oh, I love that one. I love that song. It just came in my mind now as you're um yes, that is a good one. What is your ultimate non-negotiable definition of a luxury experience and it doesn't necessarily have to cost money?
On a resort without a budget. Just on a
Ooh,
resort,
I
me and
love
my
that.
child, no budget. Yes. Resorts have everything you need,
Yes, that
including
is,
yes, yes, that's it.
and maybe some extra hand like childcare there too would be
Yeah,
would be like a good yeah,
yes.
everything. What's the biggest ick in modern dating right now? What's one thing people assume about you that's completely wrong?
That I mean, or probably that I'm mean and that I think that I'm better than people. Yeah.
Well, I've only known you for about 25 minutes, and I do not find that they're wrong. They are completely wrong. I'll say that.
Now, I do have a
Say it to
low
the people.
tolerance, I would say,
Right.
and that's just from just the position that I'm in, girl. You got to be a little. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
have to be, because you have people who think that they know you, so it gives them a certain level of what is the word I'm looking for?
Like,
Entitlement.
I was going to say audacity.
Yes.
Audacity.
Audacity, entitlement, all of that. And because of that, I've had to literally put up a nice, or you just have a low tolerance.
Yeah.
I guess that's a
Good.
good word.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if your son could describe your parenting style in one word, what would it be?
Fun. One word, or how many words?
You can do a couple. Go ahead. Quick,
Okay.
do as many.
Encouraging. I'm like, one word. Fun is not going to be my damn word. Okay.
I know.
Definitely enthusiastic, I would say, disciplinary and encouraging.
I love that. That's awesome. All right. Well, this conversation has been so fun. I'm going to wrap it up with one more question. So you have spent so much of your life navigating who the world wanted you to be versus who you actually are. If the little girl you used to be was sitting on the couch next to you or with you, what would she say to you, the woman you've become?
Now that one just gave me chills. She'd be so proud of me.
Oh,
I've never been asked this question either. She
I love that.
definitely
It's
would
hard.
say,
Yeah,
thank you for continuing to keep going.
that's
Just
so
that.
sweet.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that.
That was good. Yeah.
Well, I think that's going to be a great place to end it. So thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. This conversation was so great. I loved it.
Likewise.
Thank you for spending the time with us. Yeah.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Thank you for finding me. Like,
Yes.
I see why your podcast is where it is. Like, the questions are just very intentional and very, flowy. Like, you do great at like articulating and just bringing out the best in people, and me and myself specifically. Yes. So thank you. Thank you. I truly
Thank
appreciate
you.
Yes.
That's such a nice compliment. I really appreciate that. And I am an extrovert, so I love learning about people. I love conversation. So this podcasting has truly been like the best thing that I've added into my life. So I appreciate when people say that I'm not wasting my time with it. So that's
No,
good.
you're not. You're absolutely not.
So thank you everyone for spending time with us today on The Running Wine Mom. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. You can follow me on Instagram at @TheRunningWineMom_. And Chanel, where can the listeners find you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at @TheLifeOfValentine_. You can also find my podcast at Mom for Life Podcast on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook with my personal page, The Life of Valentine. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. And I will link all of that. So thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, you are strong, you are capable, and you are all amazing. Until next time, keep running, keep sipping, and keep embracing the joy of motherhood. Cheers, and I will be back next Tuesday.
Cheers.
Cheers.